This is MBC, Mindanaoan Broadcasting Channel.
Sa tuyo nga makapadayon ang kahibalo sa ato mga kaigsuunan, makalikay sa coronavirus nga karon gikahadlukan sa tibuok kalibutan, namugna kining pinasahi nga klase alang sa mga out-of-school youth o mga batan-on nga nakaundang silang pag-eskwela. Kini ang ALS TV Eskwela. ALS TV Eskwela. Magapadayon sa pagkat-on ang mga out-of-school youth o mga kabatan-unan nga naundang og eskwela sa elementary ug high school sa Sinacaban, Misamis Occidental, aron sila makatapos pinaagi sa pagtan-aw sa telebisyon. ALS TV Eskwela nahulma pinaagi sa pagtinabangay tali sa lokal nga kagamhanan sa Sinacaban, ALS Sinacaban Distirct ug ang Mindanaoan Broadcasting Channel MBC. Haom sa panglangtaw, kaugmaon ko ang kaugmaon mo. ALS TV Eskwela. ALS TV Eskwela. Ug karon ani ana ang inyong mga alagad, Agnes Pardillo Clapano uban kang Juniver Iduave.
Naka-enroll na ba ang tanan? Tara na! Magsugod na ang klase sa Setyembre 13.
Setyembre 13 na ang pag-abre. Excited na ba mo sa inyong klase? Alit na, tara na, eskwela na. Walay makababang padayong pagkaton, edukasyon palambuon, magpadayon. Daghan pa maagi aron makakatbo. Ipangandaman ang inyong kaugmaon. Alin na, dala na, eskwela na. Walay makababa.
Aduna kita'y lain-lain nga pamaagi sa pagkaton. Una, ang modular distance learning gamit ang mga modules.
Ug sa mga panimalay nga na ay internet connection, aduna sab kitay online learning.
Mamahimo sab ang blended learning pinaagi sa atong radio-based instruction o video lessons.
Alang sa atong mga out-of-school youths and adults nga moskwela sa alternative learning system, aduna kitay kompleto nga learning activity sheets complemented sa atong radio-based instruction.
Aduna usab kitay laing-laing pamaagi para sa pagsukod sa nakatunan, sama sa paggamit sa learning activity sheet ug ang keywords. Alina! Eskwela!
Ang mga maestro, maestra ug mga eskwelahan sa Misamis Occidental andam na. Sa September 13, eskwela na ta!
Edukasyon para buon, magpadayon.
Piece of Division andam na!
Mga higala, kamusta? Aniya na sab kita nining atong tulumanon. ALS TV Eskwela. Kamusta sa tanan nato mga ALS learners? Happy New Year sa tanan nato mga ELS learners diha sa lungsod sa Sinacaban. Kamusta sa tanan nato mga abot nining atong Sibya. Ang alternative learning system learners nagpaabot na sa ilahang tagsa-tagsa ka mga panimalay sa lain na sab nga episode sa atong mga lessons. Karon nga si Manaha atong gisugdan ang lessons sa LS5. Nag-start tagahapon og LS5 kung naka matikod mo ato mga learners ha, gisunod nato to about sa gender equality o women's right. O karong adlawa, andam-andam mga learners, kuha ang inyong mga modules, kayo mo tutok ta dirita sa LS3, Mathematical and Problem Solving. Kamusta sa ato mga stakeholders, sa ato mga supporters, mga benefactors, kamusta ang ato ang mga lumuluyo, no? Nagpaluyo sa alternative learning system TV Eskwela. Ang ato ang mga sponsor sama sa Christian Mindanao College. Kamusta ma'am? Mildred, Ma'am Michelle, diha sa lungsod sa Jimenez. Kamusta mo diha ma'am? Ang atong batch 1967 sa St. Joseph High School. Kamusta? Labi na sa mga naa diha sa USA, no? Naga-monitor sila bisan pa sa ato ang TV Eskwela, nagapaminaw sila. O gusab, kamusta sa tanan na to mga sponsor labi na sa local government unit sa lungsod sa Sinacaban nga nagapaluyo sa kanunay sa ato ang tulumanon nga nagkapadayon ta no sa ato ang TV Eskwela. Okay, so mga learners, naansira na ba ninyo ang inyong mga modules? Nahuman na ba ninyo og answer ang ato ang mga learning strand nga gipang-apod-apod ninyo last year? So hopefully this month of January inyong ipas, magpaabot ko og mang adlaw sa Sinacaban Central School aron mo check sa inyong ipangpas nga mga answered nga mga learning activity sheets. O sa atong pagpadayon, dirita sa LS3, Mathematical and Problem Solving, andama unya ang inyuhang LS3, mahitungod ta sa decimal points, no? So atong katunan, unsa ning decimal points, unsaon pag-convert sa fraction into decimal points, unsaon pag-divide og decimal nga mga numbers, no? So, una sa tanan akong gikamusta ang ato mga online learners. Oy, naa diri naka-standby si Carlos og si Cheryl. Kamusta Cheryl? Kamusta Carlos? Kamusta ang inyong New Year? Atong unahon og pangamusta si Cheryl, na ba kay New Year's resolution? Unsa may imong realization Cheryl sa ato ang nakalabay nga mga katuigan o karon unsa may imuhang mga resolution sa tuig nga ato ang nadangatan karon? Mapasalamaton ba ka sa another year nga gidugang sa Ginoo sa atong kinabuhi? Go ahead, Cheryl.
Mayong untag sa tanan og Happy New Year. Ang akong mga realization last year kay kuan sa mga panahong niagi sa pandemic nga duha na ka tuig og sa usa ang amot ang pasog garabi ang bagyo sa Bohol, gihurot ang tibuok Bohol.
Taga-asa gali imuhang mga pamilya, Cheryl, Bohol.
Bohol sa Bien Unido, Bohol.
Lagi.
Ang realization last year, isa unsa kadaghanan sa tong problema, isa sa makalimot sa Ginoo, usa pa dili importante ang mga material nga butang. Ang importante ang pag-amko ug ang ato ang relasyon sa atong pamilya, komunikasyon, ang pagkuan sa hiusa, may pagmahal sa usan-usa ug sa kanang ato ang mga sa tibuok pamilya, sa ato ang mga kaparentihan kay kung sa panahon nga moabot ang mga kalamidad, di ka mag-inusara na kay masambit mong pamilya, imuhang mga kaparentihan, mauna nga ang Ginoo ay usa kay bisan unsa kadako ang mga katalagmang mo sa kinabuhi ug mga pagsuway, ang Ginoo ra gyud ang pinaka nakahibaw sa tanan og siya unsa kadako ang mga damit, unsa kadako ang mga pakitabo nga suwayan nato sa kinabuhi, ang Ginoo mas dako ang yang paghigugma nato. Sa karon nga tuig akong resolution wala gapon mo tabang dili nakuha doon ang akong pagtabang sa mga tao, sa mga samot sa mga inahanglang tabang sa akong pamilya o magkuhan. Importante ang Ginoo doon ug ang pagmahal kay ang kwarta magamit man kung sa atong mga panginahanglanon, pero dili gyud na moy atong pagtigbabawan kay kung ang kwarta ato ang patigbabaw sa atong kinabuhi usahay mausab sa amaw na nga kuan lang kanang pag-usap, pagmahal ra ang important. Mauna akong New Year resolution og pagmahal sa pamilya og sa tanang tao og ang always nga perminted ang muhatag bisan gamay, pero sa mata sa Ginoo dako na dili importante nga unsa ka dako unsa ka gamay atong natabang, importante ni tabang sa mo na dili na puwan unsod sa ako ang kinabuhi, ang always kind and always generous bisan sa gamay pamaagi, maura na
Wow. Congratulations. Very well said. Perfect kayo mo hang ipang storya diha, Cheryl. Salamat kayo sa imong realization og sa imong resolution, no? Adirita ni Carlo. Carlo, kindly turn on your camera, Carlos. Carlos, do you have any resolution for this new year? Good morning, Carlo.
Ano po, resolution ko pa para mahalin sarili ko. Tsaka siguro pa para maging better pa, maging better, to be a better person than I was in 2021.
Mm-hmm. Thank you, Carlos. Anything? Any more?
Yeah, that's my whole resolution. Nope, that's all.
Okay. Sige, salamat Carlos. So, meron pa bang iba na gustong magsalita, gustong magpaabot sa kanilang mensahe kung ano ang kanilang mga realization last year at ano din ang kanilang mga resolution for this year. Okay, so bago tayo magpatuloy, I want you to listen this word from God from Psalms 100. So, diri lang ta sa Bisaya para mas klaro. Ang 100 nga Psalms sa 100 verse 1 taman sa 5. So, awiti nga malipayon ang Ginoo, tibuok kalibutan, simbaha ang Ginoo uban ang kalipay, ug panuol kamo kaniya uban sa malipayong nga mga awit. Ilha ang Dios, ang Ginoo, siya ang nagbuhat kanato ug kita iyaha. Kita iyang katawhan ug iya kitang panon. Sulod kamo sa iyang templo ug pasalamati siya didto. Puloy-anan sulod kamo sa iyang balaang puloy-anan ug dayga siya didto. Pasalamati ug dayga siya. Ang Ginoo maayo mulungtad ang iyang gugma, ingon man ang iyang pagkamatinud-anon hangtod sa tanang kaliwatan. So mao ni ato ang verse for today or verses for today, ang atong chapter today, whole chapter for today sa Psalms 100. So una sa tanan, mamalandong kita no og magampo kita sa Ginoo nga i-bless pagid atong family, ilikay taniya labi na karon nga nisikad na pod og balik ning COVID no na anasad tay mga threat no sa COVID nga posible na sab nga mo taas ang kaso. So padayon ta nga magmas, padayon ta nga mag social distancing ang atong mga health protocols atong padayunon og practice no. So dili ta magkumpiyansa bisan pang nakapabakuna na ta. So katong wala pa nagpabakuna na ambot lang gyud ninyo adto na gyud mo taon sa inyohang mga health centers para nga makakuha na mo ani nga proteksyon. Katong uban nakapa-booster naman gani nya kamo wa pa gyud taon mo diha nakapabakuna no kay naa na ra bay mandate ron no sa DepEd. Dili gyud mi pwede nga mo sulod sa eskwelahan labi na kay hapit na ang face-to-face without RT-PCR test or negative nga result ana. Kung wala mi napabakunahi magsige gyud big pa RT-PCR, magsige mig paswab na imagine unsa kadako og unsa kahasol no ang purisyo ana ikadulot nimo kung dili ka magpa-bakuna. So kay nanarbaho man ta, ma-involve ta sa atong mga trabahuan sa atong mga estudyante labi na sa kung asa ka nabilong sikta no kay mahimo jud kang kana ang mapiligro no mamiligro jud ka kung wala kay bakuna, wala kay proteksyon no. So para sa tanan magpadayon ta no nga mapasalamaton sa Ginoo nga giluwas ta niya, gipanalipdan ta niya, nakaabot ta rong tuiga, nakapadayon ta og pasayloon nato tong mga nakasala nato og mangayo putag pasaylo sa mga nakasala nato para kaluy-an ta padayon no og buligan pa ta sa Ginoo. Salamat ni Cheryl og ni Carlos nga nagpadayag sila ako tong mga estudyante nga buutan no sa ilahang realization og sa ilahang resolution. Matud pa ni Cheryl bisan gamay magkat-on jud ta nga mo share, mo hatag labi na nga daghan tag mga kaigsunan karon nga biktima sa Odette, bagyong Odette. Yung mga loved ones dito dili pwede nga inunda ninyo luoy-luoy. Open ang Palawan, open ang Imlulier, open ang tanan nga mga GCash dinha padalhi. May na lang makapalit silag tubig, no? Makapalit og pagkaon. Okay, so Padayon ta mag-inampuay mga kaigsuunan, labi na sa itong mga ELS learners, kapit lang, no? Hold on lang, makahuman ra gid ta aning ato ang crisis nga giatubang karon. Okay, so dita magdugay dirita sa atong una nga lesson mahitungod sa LS3. What is decimal? Kay natay video lesson from USTP. So prepared na ni siya. All you have to do is take note, get your modules, and answer your exercises. Standby mga learners.
Good day, learners. In this video, we will discuss the place value and the value of digits in a decimal. Decimal number is a number that has decimal point followed by digits that show a value smaller than 1. Like 45 and 325 thousandths, the period is what we call the decimal point, and the number to the right of the decimal point is the decimal number, and the number to the left of the decimal number is the whole number. Place value is the value represented by a digit in a number on the basis of its position in a number, while value is the actual value of the digit in a number. The word ones, tenths, hundreds, thousands, 10,000s, 100,000s, 1 millions, and tenths, hundreds, thousands, 10,000s, 100,000s, and 1 millions are the place value. Now, let us examine the decimal place value chart. The given number is 865 and 9,265 10,000ths. Let us determine now the place value and the value of each digit in a number. The place value of the first digit to the right of the decimal point, which is 9, is tenths, and its value is 9/10. As you can see, we use the word tenths to name the position of 9 in a number, and we use the number 9/10 to refer to its value. The place value of the second number to the right of the decimal point is hundreds, and the value is 200ths. The place value of the third digit to the right of the decimal point is thousands, and the value is 6,000s because the digit is 6. 5 is the fourth digit to the right of the decimal point, and its place value is 10,000s, and its value is 5/10,000ths. Let us give the place value of each digit in this number. 38 and 5,426 10,000ths. The place value of 8 is ones. The place value of 3 is tenths. 38 is the whole number. Now, let's give the place value of the decimal numbers. The place value of 5 is tenths. The place value of 4 is hundreds. The place value of 2 is thousands. And the last digit 6, the place value is 10,000ths. Okay, let's have more example. Let's give the place value and the value of the underlying digit. The place value of 5 is thousands, and the value is 5,000ths. Next is the place value of 8 is tenths, and the value is 8/10ths. The place value of 7 is 10,000, and the value is 7/10,000ths. The place value of 8 is hundreds, and the value is 800ths. Now it's your turn to answer the activities. You are given 2 activities. For letter A, give the place value of the digit 7 in each number. Do you want to know if your answers are correct? Here are the correct answer. For number 1, tenths. Number 2, 10,000ths. Number 3, ones. Number 4, hundreds. Number 5, tenths. Congratulations if you got the perfect score. For letter B, give the values of the underlined digit. Thank you, and I hope we learned something today.
Terminating and non-terminating decimals. First, we will define what is decimal. So a decimal number can be defined as a number whose whole number part and the fractional part is separated by a decimal point. So we have here an example, 17 and 48. So it is read as 17.48. So the decimal point here is between 17 and 48. So the whole part is 17 and then the decimal part is 48. So notice that the whole number part is located on the left side of the decimal point and the decimal part is located on the right side of the decimal point. So the figure below represents the decimal 17.48 into figures. Okay, note that the digits following the decimal point or the decimal part shows a value smaller than 1. And also, decimal number can be classified as terminating and non-terminating decimals. Here's an example of how the fractional part can be converted into decimals. So we have here the whole part, which is 25, and then the decimal part is 6 over 10. So in decimal, it is equivalent to 0.6. For the next one, 6 over 100, or in decimal, it is 0.06, and 6 over 1000 is 0.006 in decimal. So how did we come up with these numbers? So simple. We just divided 10 with respect to its location on the decimal part. So if tenths, divide by 10. If in hundreds, divided by 100. And if thousands, divided by 1000. Fun fact. Decimal fractions were first developed and used by the Chinese in the end of 4th century BC or before Christ, and then spread to the Middle East and from there to Europe. Numbers can be written into different forms which still its value is preserved. So we have here a fraction 1 over 4 or 1/4, where the number above the fractional bar or the vinculum is called the numerator, and the number below the fractional bar or below the vinculum is the denominator. So in illustration here, 1/4, so you take one part of the whole. So also 1/4 is equivalent to 0.25. So we got this value by simply dividing the numerator 1 by the denominator, which is 4. So by using the division operation, we come up with 0.25. So converting fractions to decimal. So it is by dividing the top numerator of the fraction by the bottom or the denominator. So example 1, what is 5 over 8 in decimal form? So doing this step or this process, 5 divided by 8, so by the division operation, we get 0.25. 0.625 or 0.625. So for this case, we inserted extra zeros after the decimal point in 5 since it is less than 8 so that we can carry with the operation or with the computation. So just don't forget to write the decimal point, which is this one. So after the zero. So first you write zero and then point, and then you go over with the computation. So therefore, 0.625 is the decimal form of 5 over 8. Another example, what is 1 over 3 in decimal form? Again, numerator 1 divided by the denominator, which is 3. So notice that the remainder of 1 keeps on appearing as we go on with the computation. So we can stop maybe on the fourth, since we can observe that the numbers just keeps on repeating or reappearing. So we can write it this way. So the decimal form of 1/3 is 0.3333 followed by 3 dots or the ellipses, which means that the numbers, there are numbers after the last number written, which is 3. So the terminating decimals. So a terminating decimal is a decimal that has an end digit. So it is a decimal which has a finite numbers of digit or terms. So we have here examples. So 0.15, 0.86, 0.5, 2.456, and 23.456. So for the first example, we have two decimal places or two decimal digits, which is 1 and 5. For the next one, 0.86, two decimal digits. For the third one, 5, which is one decimal digit. For the fourth one, which has three decimal digits. And for the last example, we have three decimal digits. Now for the non-terminating decimals, so non-terminating decimals are the one that does not have an end term. It has an infinite number of terms. Okay, so examples, 0.5444 and so on. 0.111 pi, which is equivalent to 3.14, 15, 92, 65, 35, and so on. So notice that it does not contain a specific number of decimal digits. So these are the non-terminating decimals. Let's answer this. Identify if 77 over 25 is terminating or non-terminating decimal. So for the solution and answer, we have here 3.08, which is terminating decimal. So for the solution, 77 over 25, and we got the value of 3.08. Question number 2. Identify if 308 over 9 is terminating or non-terminating decimal. So for the solution and answer, we have here 34.222 or 34.222 with a bar on the upper digits of 222, since we want to indicate that the 2 repeats itself. So notice that in our solution, the remainder 2 or the number 2 keeps on appearing. So we can say that if we go over or continue with the computation, we will not come to an end, and so we can write this way instead. Question number 3. Identify if 17 over 8 is terminating or non-terminating decimal. For the solution and answer, we have the answer of 2.125, which is a terminating decimal. So 17 over 8, which gave us 2.125. Question number 4. Identify if 8 over 3 is terminating or non-terminating decimal. So for the solution and answer, we have 2.66 ellipsis, or we wrote it this way, which is a non-terminating decimal. Again, notice in our solution, if we go over with our computation, the number 2 keeps on appearing. So we can say that this is a non-terminating decimal. So this is the reference used in this presentation. Thank you.
Division of decimals. Good day, students. Welcome back to our classroom. Today, we are going to learn dividing decimals by 1/10, 100s, 1000s, 10, 100, and 1000. Let us start. First, let us know the parts of division. Number 1, the dividend. It is the number that will be divided. Number 2, the divisor. It is the number of groups or parts that the dividend is being separated. Number 3, quotient. It is the answer or the result in division. Lastly, remainder. If the quotient has leftovers. Division is also presented by this one, the basic one or the common one, by a horizontal line, or by a slash. Now, let us have our first example. Take note that 0.84 is the dividend and 0.1 is the divisor. Now, let us get the quotient. The first step in dividing decimals is to copy the dividend, including the decimal point. Let us try. There you go. Now, the second step to remember is the number of decimal places in 0.1, 0.01, or 0.001 means the number of places you move the point to the right. Since our divisor has only one decimal place, therefore, we are going to move our decimal point once to the right. There. And remove 0. Now, our final answer is 8.4. Let us try another example. 0.84 is divided by 0.01. Our divisor has 2 decimal places. Therefore, we are going to move the decimal point twice to the right. 1, 2. Now, since our answer is a whole number, we can remove the decimal point and the 0. Now, our final answer is 84. Let's have another one. At this point, we are going to have 0.001. So we have here 0.84 is divided by 0.001. First, copy the dividend. Since 0.001 has 3 decimal places, we are going to move 3 times to the right. 1, 2, 3. Since there is an empty place value, we are going to put 0. And let us remove 0 in front. Now our final answer is 840. Let's have another example. This time, we are going to divide decimals with 10, 100, and 1000. Let us have our first example. We have 3.9 is divided by 10. The first step we should do is to copy the dividend, including the decimal point. There. The next step to remember is the number of zeros in 10, 100, or 1000. Means the number of decimal places you move the point to the left. Since 10 has 1 0, we are going to move ones to the left. 1. And put 0. There. So our final answer is 0.39. Great job! Let's try another example. 3.9 is divided by 100. Again, copy the dividend. And since 100 has 2 zeros, we are going to move the decimal point twice to the left. 1, 2. Since we have empty place values, we are going to put 0. And add 0 after the decimal point. So our answer is 0.039. Finally, we have 3.9 is divided by 1000. Again, copy the dividend. Since 1000 has 3 zeros, we are going to move the decimal point 3 times to the left. 1. Let's put zeros to the empty place values. 2, 3. So our final answer is 0.0039. Very good. So did you get me? Great job!
Welcome to Math with Teacher Junaza. In this video, we will be converting decimals to fractions. To convert decimal to fraction, you first must remember what decimals and fraction are. Decimal is a number that has a decimal point followed by digits that show a value smaller than 1, while fraction is a number that represents a part of a whole. Both decimals and fractions are ways to show numbers that as part of a whole. With decimals, the parts are broken into tenths, hundredths, thousands. The number after the decimal point are what we call the decimal number. So here, 2 is in the tenths place, 3 is in the hundreds place, and 4 is in the thousands place. And 1 here is what we call the whole number. One whole pan of brownie would be the same as the digit 1 to the left of the decimal. Since there are no part of the whole brownie, there would be a 0 to the right of the decimal point. One whole is the same as 1.0. A second pan of brownie that have been cut into equal parts but some pieces have been eaten is like the digits to the right of the decimal point. If 4 pieces have been eaten, and since 10 minus 4 is 6, then we would say 0.6 or 6/10 of the brownie remains. Just count the tenths. If we want to show that the 6 pieces remains, we would say there are 0.6 or 6/10. Now, if we want to convert this to a fraction, we just show the part of the whole with a fraction line in between the digits instead of the decimal. So the point 6/10 is now written as 6/10. Here's a strategy to help in converting decimals to fractions. First, if the decimal is in the tenths, just write the digits in decimal as a numerator over a denominator of 10. Second, if the decimal is in the hundredths, write the digits in decimals as the numerator over a denominator of 100. Third, if the decimal is in the thousands, put the digits in the decimal as the numerator over a denominator of 1000. Remember to reduce the obtained fraction into its lowest form. Let's take a look at some examples. Write 0.7 or 7/10 as a fraction. So 7 is in a tens place, so 10 is a denominator, and we copy 7 as the denominator, so we get 7/10. Let's have another example. Write 75 hundredths as a fraction. So 75 in the hundredths place, we put 100 in the denominator and copy 75 as the numerator, but we still reduce this one to the lowest term. So we will divide both the numerator and denominator with 25. So 75 divided by 25 is 3, and 100 divided by 25 is 4. So we get 3/4. What place does our decimal end? And it gives to a thousands place. So 1000 is our denominator and 126 is our numerator. But we can reduce it to the lowest term. We will divide both the numerator and denominator by 2. So we get 63/500. Okay, let's try this. Convert decimals to fraction. Okay, think what place does a decimal end? For number 1, 4/10. Decimal ends in the tenths place. So that's going to be a denominator for our fraction. Again, whatever the decimal ends, that's going to be the denominator. So 4/10, we take a look at what number behind the decimal, and we have 4. So that's our numerator. So 4/10 as a decimal and 4/10 as a fraction. But we still reduce to the lowest term and we get 2/5. Number 2, 9 hundredths. So the denominator is 100 and the numerator is 9. So we get 9 hundredths. Number 3. What place does our decimal end? And it gives to a thousands place. So 1000 is the denominator and 603 is the numerator. Number 4, 5/10. it can be reduced to lowest term, which is 1/2. 5. 3/1000. And 6, we have a mixed number, so 9 and 7/10.
Welcome to Teacher Caesar's Math Lessons. In this video, I will show you how to convert a fraction into a decimal. Let's start with a fairly easy and straightforward example. Let's start with
Learning Strand 2 Scientific and Critical Thinking Skills, titled Reproductive System Changes During Puberty. Learning Competency, describe the changes that occur during puberty. Score learning level, junior high school. Learners, are you ready? Have you experienced having a bad body odor, especially at your armpit? Or having an awful pimples in your face? Don't get mad, it's normal. These are the signs that you are in puberty stage. What is puberty stage? Puberty is the process of which the body changes and matures into an adult, capable of sexual production. These changes during puberty are caused by hormones produced in our body. These hormones are testosterone for boys and estrogen and progesterone for girls. These are two kinds of sex glands, testes for boys and ovary for girls. Here are some changes in the physical body of males during 12 to 14 years old. Number 1, voice gets deeper. Number 2, penis and testes gets bigger. Number 3, shoulder and chest becomes broader. Number 4, becomes taller. Muscles get bigger and stronger. Now for the female, physical body changes during 10 to 12 years old. Number 1, breasts begin to develop. Number 2, vulva, vagina, and nipples get bigger. Number 3, monthly period or menstruation starts. Number 4, become taller. Body increase in size and shape. Hips and waist gets more defined. Both physical body changes. Number 1, become taller. Number 2, hair starts to grow on armpits, arms, legs, and genital area. Number 3, oily skin more likely to have acne. Changes in emotional and social. Sudden change in mood. Number 2, having a crush to the opposite sex. Number 3, having more time spent to their peers. Number 4, having matured thinking. Remember, puberty stage is very important part in our life, in which we can experience different body changes like physically, mentally, emotionally, and socially in order to prepare us to become a matured adult. To continue on learning Strand 2 Scientific and Critical Thinking Skills, let us proceed to the female reproductive system. Learning competency relate the structure of the reproductive system to its function, such as female reproductive system, ovaries, egg cells, fallopian tubes, uterus or womb, vagina, and cervix. The female reproductive system has an internal and external structure. It means function is the reproduction of species. Parts of the female reproductive system and its function. Ovaries, oval-shaped gland in either side of the uterus where eggs and hormones are produced and developed. Number 2, egg cell or ova carries a set of chromosomes and produce a precise environment to allow fertilization to occur. Number 3. Fallopian tube. A narrow tube connected to the upper part of the uterus. The egg cell or ova travels in this tube from ovary to the uterus. It is where the egg cell becomes fertilized by the sperm cell. Number 4. Uterus or womb. A pear-shaped muscular organ where implantation of the fertilized egg takes place. It develops and nourishes the fetus. Number 5. Vagina. It is where the sperm cells pass through. Number 6. Cervix. It is found in the lower part of the uterus. It allows menstrual blood flows from the uterus to the vagina. It is where the sperm passes through during intercourse. Now, can you draw or label the parts of the reproductive system of a female? If you encounter some difficulties in answering this video, do not hesitate to call your teacher. Basta sa ALS TV Eskwela,
Okay, so mautuno ang atong mga lessons, mga learners, ang LS3, Mathematical and Problem Solving. Nagahisgot kita sa decimal points. So, dito nakatunan ninyo unsaon pag-determine ang number asa diha ang decimal numbers, no? Unsaon pag-divide sa decimal numbers, unsaon pag-convert sa decimal numbers into fraction, og ang fraction into decimal numbers ugma ng adlaw, no, sa atong ALS Radio Eskwela atong makatunan sa DX DD alas alauna taman unsa batang orasa alas 3 taman sa alas 4 noon. Sa alas 3 taman sa alas 4 sa hapon. Ugma, maghisgot pa dayon sa decimal points o sa critical thinking skills. Karon naka-start ta og tudlo sa reproductive system sa female, no, og sa katong puberty stage. So ugma ato na sabtun-an ang male reproductive system. Okay? So take note mga learners, kung dili ninyo gets ang atong lesson, pwede ra gid ninyo i-review sa atong mga chat groups, nag-download ta sa atong mga video, ug usab pwede ninyo balikan sa ato ang FB live. So salamat kayo sa atong mga sponsor, bisan pa sa ngalan na lang sa atong station manager honor si Ma'am Tata Ruhas Chan, ug akong kauban diri si Sir John Risoles, ang atong technician. Thank you kaayo sa pag-assist sir, ug Happy New Year tanan sa ato ang mga taga-media, no? Salamat kayo sa Mindanaoan Broadcasting Channel sa ilahang pag-alayon sa ato ang tulumanon ALS TV Eskwela. So sa ngalan na lang sa Alternative Learning System sa lungsod sa Sinacaban, kining yung District ALS Coordinator Agnes Pardillo Klapan umingon, God bless and aim high Sinacaban.
Inyong nabati ang programa ALS TV Eskwela. ALS TV Eskwela. Magapadayon sa pagkat-on ang mga out-of-school youth o mga kabatan-unan nga naundang og eskwela sa elementary ug high school sa Sinacaban, Misamis Occidental aron sila makatapos pinaagi sa pagtan-aw sa telebisyon. Hangtod sa sunod nga higayon, daghan kaayong salamat.